Welcome to Season 2, Episode 12 of the Traditional Legends Show. I'm Brandy, and I'm with John at Boxwood House in Romney, West Virginia. Let's talk about some legends.
Yeah, definitely. And, let's talk about the fact that snow is still on the ground.
Actually, I was just upstairs. The sun's coming out, and it's melting.
Excellent. So in this episode, we're going to be taking our road trip right down the street.
Back home.
Country
home. Roads have taken us home where we belong.
And this time around, folks, I put down the right episode number.
Good job.
So, yeah, the first time around, I screwed up and I put it 5 because just it's a placeholder. And when we recorded, it didn't even faze me that, yeah, duh. I had to change the number around. So, yeah. Plus, in today's episode, we actually put up the American Paranormal Press magazine that we are featured in that actually features just what we're about to talk about. So here we go. Let's get into the wild and woolly West Virginia.
Yes, so it is called wild and wonderful for a reason.
Yeah, so let's talk about Mothman.
We're just jumping right in.
Right in there. 1960s.
Yep, 1966 to 67.
Yeah. So what happened was a lot of citizens or a lot of people in this one town of Point Pleasant, West Virginia, started seeing this Mothra.
Right.
Mothra.
Well, they described it as a man-sized human-bird hybrid. And what's funny is, you joke about Mothra, but because the Batman television show and comic was so popular back then.
Oh, yeah.
It was originally called Batman. It was
cool.
The Batman. It wasn't until later that they began describing it as Mothman.
Yep. Something's going to happen.
Something is
going to happen in the river.
Well, that's what ended it. That is what ended it.
And then what happened was the Point Pleasant Bridge collapsed.
It was the bridge between Ohio and West Virginia.
Yeah.
And it was in December, right about Christmas time.
And there was a lot of people that were being warned about this sort of incident that was going to occur. So in my essence, in my thought process, my whole theory is that it was death.
Well, let's back up for a second because I think this is absolutely hilarious, not the death. So according to the description, the creature was gray.
Yeah. Yep.
Had glowing red eyes and a 10-foot wingspan. Okay. So a man by the name of Robert Smith, he was a wildlife biologist from WVU, he said, well, golly gee willikers, that sounds like a sandhill crane. Sandhill cranes are not native to the region.
Yeah.
So what he proposed was that the bird had deterred from its natural migration route and was therefore misidentified as locals.
So there was so many theories behind it because it was also seen in an old military storage munitions facility. Yeah. And then there was also the brick. Was it the masonry factory, I believe, or was it an oil factory?
Something like. No, I think it might be like the old brick factory or something.
I think it was the old brick factory.
I'm honestly not. Now, like you, a lot of people do consider it a harbinger of disaster or some sort of grim reaper.
Yeah, because it's all over the world. There's several sightings of the Mothman.
Right. Well, human-bird hybrids, okay? So, for example, in Philippine culture, there is a bird-human hybrid creature called the ek-ek.
Okay.
And it's called that because that's the noise that it makes. Ek, 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 ek. So, now, this is kind of like a vampiric sort of thing. It's a human with very large wings. It flies through the night searching for victims, and they feast on human flesh and blood. And
alrighty then.
legend relates the creature is able to transform at will to seek out victims.
Yeah, it sounds to me like some fishermen saw this thing fly down, and pick up a large animal and take off, and then they actually said, "Oh my God, this could pick up." Well, I've seen videos of large like hawks and everything that pick up babies.
Well, but see, now you're sounding like the wildlife biologist.
Yeah, yep.
It's misidentified.
But no, this is that open-minded mentality, because you can't just say it's paranormal,
rebel.
Or it's natural. No, it's you don't know.
Well, dating back to 865 BCE is the Akkadian and Sumerian mythology, Anzu, which is a storm bird.
Ah, okay.
And it's a demon. And mind you, during that time, a demon is often considered a spirit.
Okay.
Okay, as opposed to a demon. It's half man, half bird, and it stole the tablet of destinies from the god Enlil.
Now, let me ask you this. Was there any other mentions of demons before monotheistic beliefs?
Yes. In a lot of ancient...
Sumerians?
Well, like Sumerians, even the ancient Greek, people tend to think of the ancient world and the biblical world as two different entities, but in actuality, they had contact with each other. Okay, so this is, think about it. One of the first translations of the Bible was into Greek. So a demon is often actually a spirit. It doesn't mean that it's anything evil or anything like that. If you even think of modernly, the book transformed into a movie, The Golden Compass, their animal companions are called demons, and it's spelled D-A-E.
Yeah, D-A-E-M-O-N, like Damons.
Right, that's what it looks like. Well, it's funny. Matt Damon was in a movie called Dogma, in which case he was an angel.
Yep.
Oh, look, there's a human figure with wings.
Exactly.
So this is a figure that it spans the globe, and it's actually usually viewed within the confines of religious beliefs or spiritual beliefs. And that's because in the ancient world, they viewed the sky as the realm of the gods, the realm of the spirits. Yep. And even if you think about it today in modern Christianity, yes, we bow our heads to pray, but we raise our hands to the sky in praise, and when we say, oh, thank God, where are we looking? We're looking up. We're looking up into the realm of the gods. So this ancient religious philosophy has still trickled down to us today, whether we realize where it has come from or not.
So let's get back to Mothman.
Right.
This was a fantastic story in the essence where they actually made a movie on it. Richard Gere starred in it. It's still one of my favorites, as far as a paranormal type, like drama.
Right. The idea of Indrid Cold scared the bejesus.
Yeah, that was so cool.
That really creeped me out. And when we went to Point Pleasant, I just remember thinking, please don't let us show up in the middle of the night. Maybe car breakdown.
Phone will ring, and you're like, what? What is this? It's like half the time a phone rings and it's going to be it's going to be emptiness anyway because, or it's going to be a fax machine.
Maybe this is why they got rid of landlines.
Ooh, yeah.
Just a thought.
So, Mothman foretold a great, problem, a great issue that was going to be a catastrophe. It was called the Silver Bridge?
Yes.
In Point Pleasant collapsed. We got a really cool blog
Yes.
about us walking through Point Pleasant. So check that out. It's really
go
cool.
to our website. Shameless plug here. I have actually written a blog about human avian hybrids throughout history.
That too,
and
then
what they might mean.
If you want to really see what Point Pleasant looks like, we actually did a walkthrough of it. So
check that out on YouTube.
Really cool waterfront too.
Oh, it's super awesome.
Really beautiful
super
waterfront. Awesome. So
Great.
let's talk about the next stop.
It's not far. It's not far. It's actually I believe a little bit south. Am I correct in that?
So this goes
It's in Sutton.
This has two different
Yeah.
locations kind of in the same spot.
Well, you have Sutton and then you have Flatwoods. They're like
right
this.
next to each other,
Yeah.
like right down the street.
Literally neighbors within the mile.
In Sutton, West Virginia, kids were playing out in the 1952.
1952. It was the Mays brothers and their friend.
Yeah, kids were playing outside, just
Like
having
kids do.
typical 50s kids,
Right.
And suddenly, off in the distance, a bright light crashed into the woods.
Right. They saw it streak across the sky.
Yep.
It crashed.
Huge ball of light.
They ran to tell mom.
Yeah.
Of course, that's what children do. They go and tell mommy. So mom and the dog, they, all right, let's go find out what happened. And along the way, other kids joined in and a dog.
Well, hell, you're out in the middle of West Virginia.
Yeah. West Virginia. Yeah.
You're in a small populated town. And then this occurs.
Right.
It's going to be an all-out War of the Worlds type thing where everyone's going to go over to the crash site and go, ooh, what's going on here?
Exactly. So what they found, there was a mist just hovering above the ground, a 10-foot monster with a red body and glowing face appeared.
That is wild.
Now, I did not know this. It actually has a huge Japanese following.
Really?
Yes. In pop culture, it's featured in some of the older Japanese video games. It was made into figurines. They even they're like anime. It's kawaii.
Did you put in, I know you threw it into AI. Did you happen to put that into any of the folders or anything like that?
Yeah, I actually did save it, and I will. Okay. We will bring it up.
We'll post it.
Put it in here.
On here. Yep.
We'll put it in here. And here's the thing. I put it in AI because I really wanted to see what it looked like. I took the description of it, and I thought to myself, this is like no other alien type species.
Yeah, because thinking back on it, you got the Greys, you got the reptilians, you got the Manus people, you got, a number of different, Nordics. You have a number of different alien species.
So this just didn't fit the mold.
Yeah.
So, and I thought to myself, but nobody else has seen it since or before. But then I dug a little deeper.
Really?
Yes, I dug a little deeper. So a Mrs. Audra, what is her name?
I don't see it in here. Yeah.
Okay.
Audra Harper. That's it.
Audra Harper. She was cutting through the woods with her friend, and I guess they felt that something was coming up on them, something like that. And she turned around and she saw the creature. And the way this creature was described, it was the same thing, except it was more reptilian.
Interesting. Well, that, and that that makes me think about it. Okay, you have all these newer or these alien species, but you have older sightings of these species. But the thing of it is, they're more cloaked or they're more armored. So I'm wondering,
and that's something that they had said about the Flatwoods monster, is it looked like it had armor, like some sort of vehicle.
I'm wondering if it's like today, astronauts today, you have better technology, compared to when the man went on the moon. It looks like a big bubble head, Now
that's true. One giant blank face. That's
everything is
described.
Everything is skin tight, and you have those sleeker helmets.
Well, I just want to do another shameless plug. Go to the blog, The Lunarian. It's a little story about that, and that's what if there were creatures on other planets, other beings, and we suddenly arrived, what would we look like?
Well, yeah, just like that. As far as the old bobbleheads of the 60s and 70s, to now where it looks more humanoid.
Right. And we'll think about this too. The fellas landing on the moon.
Yeah.
Think about the gravity. Okay. Yep. Someone could go, oh, they're floating. They're floating. Yep. It's like, no. We just have different gravity.
Well, it could also be that these technologies give it the ability to float.
Right. Well, that was something that was said about the Flatwoods Monster. There was a noxious gas that was in the air, and it seemed like some sort of oil was leaking, and the people that came across this creature were actually sick for several days from inhaling this gas. Yep. And what's funny is very nearby a town called Strange Creek.
Yeah, right.
Okay. The Snitowski family.
Snitowski family. There you go.
Yeah. So they were driving through the quiet countryside, and their car suddenly died. Bum, bum, bum. You know where this is going.
Oh, yeah.
No one was in sight. Darkness was falling. But then an overwhelming stench filled the air, and their baby began to cry. A bright beam of light. Then there was a 10-foot tall creature hovering in front of their car. And it was the same monster from Flatwoods, except it didn't wear the hood, and its head was bony and reptilian. It's described as having lizard-like fingers, which glided across the car.
Nummy.
I mean, come on, picturing a giant lizard. So yeah, and then it vanished into the woods, and as soon as it vanished, the car started right back up.
Interesting.
But how many stories of alien encounters? The Hills, for example, Betty and Barney
and by
Hill.
the way, it's right behind you too.
Oh, I was about to say, wait, what's behind me?
The picture.
Yes. It's there. You get it when you go to the Flatwoods Monster Museum.
Yeah.
Which is super awesome. Check it out. Also in Sutton is the Bigfoot Museum.
Yeah, because of course, with aliens, comes Bigfoot. So Bigfoot could be one of two things: one, a pet, or two, an actual species of alien.
Chewbacca.
Yep.
Chewbacca.
Yep.
I'm just saying. Could be. But I think it's interesting. I mean, I've never personally had any sort of Bigfoot encounter. But I've spoken to people who have. Even though I'm not one of those, I got to say it to believe it. I'm from the swamps of Florida. I know this stuff exists. That's all I'm saying.
Skunk Ape.
Yes, exactly. It's just one of those things. Yeah, you just know.
It'll get there when it gets there,
Yeah.
It's with technology the way it is now, there's been some really cool evidence out there that has come across that has kind of scratched my head. So
well, what I find really interesting about Sasquatch, Bigfoot, whatever, in early accounts, it is described as the wild man.
Yeah.
So they are viewing this creature as
But this goes back further, way further. This goes back to Native American times.
Oh, even further back than that.
Oh, yeah,
even
older, pre-United States type deal.
And I mean, come on, we're in the mountains here. You don't know.
Plus, don't know. There's a special, not humanoid, not race, But there's a trait
Oh, yeah.
down
Absolutely.
in Tennessee, I believe, or Kentucky, the blue people.
That's Kentucky. Yeah, the blue people.
So, blue people,
Mm-hmm.
right there,
Exactly. You don't know. Well, I mean, and then there's the people that, I don't know the name of it, but they have the excess hair growth, so they look like
the
little
wolfmen.
wolf.
Yeah, the
little
wolf.
wolves.
Yeah,
They're so
yeah,
cute. I'm sorry, they're so cute.
So let's pivot and talk about right down the street here, like literally right down the street.
Right down the street. Yeah.
The Giants of West Virginia, and we're not talking about the football team.
Exactly. So, in 1889, South Branch of the Potomac flooded, and as the water receded, skeletons were uncovered. This area used to be home to the Hopewell and Adena indigenous cultures. This is approximately 10,000 years ago. They're typically considered the mound builders. So they're in the Ohio Valley down all the way through the East Coast of the United States. So even the Grave Creek mounds over in Moundsville, I feel like I'm making things up at this point. Mound. Yeah. So it's rumored that it houses the remains of giants. Because according to records, the 1800s excavations of the Grave Creek mounds, they found skeletons measuring up to 8 feet tall. And the Smithsonian actually excavated the Creel Mound in South Charleston, West Virginia, and unearthed a skeleton that was almost 7 feet tall.
But no.
Right, rabble.
There's no such thing.
Exactly. I mean, even Juan Ponce de Leon, when he was in Florida, he wrote in his journals that he had met natives that were 7+ feet tall.
Yep.
And historians are going, oh no, that can't be possible. And this gets me. An adjunct anthropology professor went on records and said, the so-called giants in West Virginia are a prevailing myth that the Adena people were a race of giant prehistoric humans based on accounts of large skeletons found during West Virginian mound excavations. Now, she clarified that the giants being described in the myth aren't supernatural in size. They are described as unusually tall individuals who would now be diagnosed with gigantism.
Interesting.
I want to say this. I may be hanging out down here with the shrubs at 5 feet tall, but I have cousins that are 7 feet and taller.
Yep.
They do not have any sort of birth defect or form of gigantism. Professional basketball players.
Exactly.
Hello, that's proof in concept right there that giant human beings exist.
Shaq.
Exactly.
Duh.
Exactly.
Yeah, that man's a monster.
Right. Like I'd come up to his kneecaps. I'm telling you.
Yep.
I'm telling you. So I think that these historians, I'm honestly not sure what their fear is in saying that there are giants.
I think it's more of a fear of, it's like an ego thing. It's like,
Maybe.
oh, I found this. Mm-hmm. Oh, but now you're finding other stuff, so my findings are going to go away. No, that's not the way it goes.
Right.
That type thing.
And one of the things blowing up social media is the priestess that had been unearthed. I don't think it was Native American. It was in some other country. But this skeleton of a female who was well over 6 feet tall, and she had a golden eye.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I never heard of this.
Yeah, it was a prosthetic eye that was made out of like pitch and tar, and it had been colored golden.
Well,
So
they name them Amazons for a reason.
Exactly. Exactly. So I think that this legend of giants in West Virginia is actually
not too
very,
far-fetched.
very true.
Because you got Native
Absolutely.
Americans and Native, indigenous people throughout the Central and South American regions too that are built,
Right. And I mean, here's the thing. When you're thinking of the early Spaniards that came to America, 1400s, things like that, the average height of men at that time...
5 foot?
Right around 5 foot.
Yeah.
5 foot. So trust me, everybody's
I know.
giant.
Tell me about it.
Everybody.
My old house in New Jersey, it was built by my family, and the basement was 5 foot high ceilings.
Right.
So it was just crouching down while you're walking through.
Right. So, I think there is very good evidence to say, oh yeah, absolutely, there were giants walking around. And here's the thing, within Native culture, I would think that they would make very good warriors.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Very good warriors.
Yep. Until they get some sort of disease from the Portuguese or the Spanish that came over.
The invaders.
The yellow flu, and then die out.
Right. Right. Yes. So. They brought with them their diseases. Yay. But that's a story for another day.
Yep. So anyway, that's where we're at. Where we moved right along West Virginia there. We got another really cool short coming up where we went to a Civil War doctor's house and
just Route 901.
901. So stay tuned for that, folks, because we're gonna have a little short there. Yep. Put on our YouTube there, and really cool little tidbits of information.
Yeah, we're as weather permits, we're going to try to get out and start to do a little more filming and a little more investigation of the myths and legends in West Virginia, and Maryland, because that's our tri-state area.
And I just want to thank everyone for watching the last episode. Loved it. Love the support. We're gonna keep going on YouTube here. We're gonna keep going on to on the website. So more content. So looking forward to your support. If you have any questions, if you would like to be featured on the show, please let us know.
Join us.
So without further ado, the next episode is going to be right next door where we used to live to.
Yep.
Virginia.
Just down the mountain.
So we're going to have some really wild stuff.
Yeah.
Wild stories.
Super fun. Maybe we'll have to get into Virginia and do some filming.
So as always, folks, please remember to rate, review, and subscribe to or follow the podcast on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts. And I'm John.
And in case you forgot, I'm Brandy.
Oh, yeah, that girl over there. Thanks for watching, everyone. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.
Bye.